such an exceptional global company with incredible legacy. I've known, as you can imagine, I've known Wipro as one of the pioneering leaders in the industry, and over the years, I've really come to greatly respect and admire the company, its values, its people, and its capabilities. Above all, the founder, chairman, Mr. Azim Premji's extraordinary leadership of this company for over 50 years, and his exceptional generosity is legendary. I have immense respect for the work done by the Azim Premji Foundation for the underprivileged. Its 67% economic ownership of Wipro adds greater meaning to everything we do every day. As we speak, we are amidst a global pandemic, which has few parallels in history. Safety of employees will be our paramount concern as we navigate these extraordinary times. The pandemic has brought about lasting changes in our ways of working. I have heard of remarkable stories from our customers with whom I've spoken lately, partners and colleagues, on how we have adapted to the new demands of today and the indomitable spirit and dedication that we have shown in keeping our promise to customers and communities where we operate. Over the last few weeks, I've been spending time with senior leaders and teams across units and functions to take a holistic view of our business and better understand our opportunities and challenges. This is a defining period for our industry and for Wipro. Disruption has always been a part of our business, but challenges are new. And I'm convinced that Wipro, with a long history of 75 years, who has overcome many challenges with tenacity and resilience. The culture of innovation fostered here over the ages will help us pivot and transform. Finally, I want to state that profitable growth is our most important agenda. Despite the immediate challenges, I've absolutely no doubt that we will emerge stronger. Over the next few weeks, working closely with Chairman Rishad Premji and other senior leaders, I expect to finalize the plan to drive improvement across all spheres in our quest to achieve industry-leading growth. So I look forward to meet you in person next time with more details on our strategy and vision. With that, I now hand it over to Jatin for his comments on the business performance and the highlights for Q1 21. Thank you.
Jatin should be joining in a minute.
Just give it a second. Jatin is just joining. This is the real virtual world, so some glitches. We all are at homes. He's just trying to hook on from his laptop to his phone. So just give a minute. Apologies for this break.
Saurabh, do you want me to sing now?
We'll wait. Jatin is there, right? Yeah, he's joined.
Yeah, he's joined.
Yes, we can start.
Yeah, Jatin, go ahead. Yeah.
So thank you very much for joining us. Some of these things really take their own life suddenly, and my laptop did. So sorry for that. I will cover our performance in three separate brackets. Number one is the way we manage the quarter in terms of business continuity. We have done very well in terms of only 4,000 to 4,000, 5,000 employees coming to office, and really 95% of our staff working from home. The second thing which we have done well is we have taken care of their medical support. We have also worked on mental support, mental well-being helpline, etc. And Saurabh can talk a little bit about it. I will talk about IT services revenue. We are 4.4% year-on-year decline, and it is in constant currency. We have done a very good job on operating margin, where we have kept it at 19%, which is 1.4% expansion on quarter basis. Our EPS declined. EPS actually grew 5.7%. Sorry, there is a little bit of echo. Even when our revenues declined by 4.4% year-on-year. We did a very good job on cash conversion. Our operating cash flows were really 127% of our EBITDA. And our free cash flows were really 157% of our net income. Our ETR went slightly up this quarter, which was 22.1%. And we had a very good Forex realization this quarter, which was 75.95. The second aspect of my commentary is regarding the demand environment. You know that the world is in a very difficult situation, has been in a very difficult situation, and we feel proud the way we have managed the quarter one in terms of performance. Our order book looks quite good in the context of the environment. We are seeing some uptick in order book compared to last year. We have seen that the deals have continued to close even during the course of the quarter one, and the momentum is therefore continuing. And overall, we feel that as we get into quarter two, some of our BUs like technology, CBU, and communications should come back on some sort of a positive trajectory. But there are parts of environment which still remain quite uncertain, and we'll have to work through on those as we progress through quarter two. Overall, we are quite happy with the progress that we made in quarter one, especially on the profitability, especially on cash conversion, and especially managing the operations the way we manage through the quarter. I also want to talk about one of the acquisitions that we have just announced today. The acquisition is called IVIA Servicos, and that is in Brazil. It gives us a great entry into Northeast Brazil, and it has potential to serve us as a part of our global delivery network. Overall, a quarter that started with a lot of lack of visibility. I think the team Wipro has worked hard to come out well on the other side of the quarter, and we are very happy where we are at the end of quarter one, and we'll be happy to take your questions from you.
Chandra, would you like to go first? Please unmute and proceed, Chandra. Chandra, we cannot hear you. Sorry.
Mute. Chandra, we can't hear you. Yeah. No, still we can't hear you.
Sorry, Chandra.
We still can't hear you, Chandra.
Yeah. We can move to somebody else till Chandra.
Ayushman, next. Would you like to go next? Ayushman.
Yeah. Hey, hi, Ayushman here from Mint. So I want to understand when we can expect recovery which verticals and geographies is going to drive this recovery? That's one. And second is when can we expect some kind of a lateral hiring to resume? Those two.
So Jatin, I can speak on the hiring part first, and then you can take on the others, and then we can, and Thierry can give an overall comments. So Ashwin, thanks for your question. First of all, let me tell you that lateral hiring never stopped. In this quarter, Wipro has hired 7,000 people gross, and we have hired across the globe wherever there was demand and wherever there were skills required. So to answer your question, hiring has not stopped. We will continue to hire in Q2 based on what we have, the demands are across the globe. So I'm keeping my answer specific to the lateral hiring. On other details, we'll speak later. Over to you, Jatin.
Yes. So thanks, Saurabh. I will talk about what is working in the market. And what is working is some of the COVID offerings that Wipro developed. And it is not something that we developed today. It is something that we have been invested in for a long time. And the specifically cloud, VDI, SD-WAN offering, etc. in infrastructure services, we are seeing great traction. We are seeing great traction for our services in cybersecurity. We are seeing great traction in our DOP, digital operations and platform service offering. So we are quite excited, by the way, of the opportunity which is coming out of the current pandemic, because if there is one thing which it is making very real is a need for technology to enable the business. So we are quite excited about our offering and what are the attraction points that we are able to generate in the marketplace. Specifically on sectors, as I shared before, we certainly see consumer, business unit, technology, and communications faring a little better vis-a-vis stability. I wouldn't say we are back into the growth track for any BUs in the current context, but I'll say they are faring little better, and where we see a trajectory more stable and towards improvement. And others will have to wait and watch, specifically in geographies where we are still seeing an elevated cases of the pandemic, and we'll have to see how it pans out. So a little too early to call. I'll request Thierry if he would like to add any additional color.
Yes, thank you, Jatin. So yes, if I look at the different quarters and give a perception for where we are, I feel, obviously, looking at it, after the fact, the work done by the team in the first quarter has been absolutely great. The way the team has responded to the challenge of the crisis and the way it has worked and connected with our customers more closely than ever. In fact, we've had a lot of great feedback from customers praising us for the quality of the connection and the dedication and the commitment of the teams during the first quarter. So you have now the figures for the first quarter. The view is clearly to shoot for stabilization of the revenue of the top line in the second quarter. That's what we see today. For the second half of for H2, it's too early to tell, and so we will come back at due time to comment more on that.
Thank you. Mukta, would you like to go next? Mukta?
Yeah. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Hi, everyone, and hope you're all doing well. Thierry, this has just been a few days at Wipro, but these are tough times. The revenues definitely have fallen significantly. TCS just last week talked about the COVID-19 impact bottoming out in Q1. They expect a better Q2, Q3. You've not given a guidance here today, but can you share your thoughts on whether you see some recovery happening going forward? And also, clearly, you've talked about, making, even at the AGM, you talked about making bold bets and focusing on profitable growth. Could you just highlight some of the steps or some of those initiatives that you have in mind or you've put down for Wipro going forward? And Jatin, for you, of course, definitely, great margins in this quarter. So if you can just give us a breakup of the margins and especially the COVID impact, because the last time in the 15 days of the impact, you had said it was a 0.7% impact. What is it like this time? How has the currency helped? Just a bit of a breakup would help.
So Mukta, maybe I can start with the three first questions, or at least two and a half questions that you ask. So first of all, on the projection on what could happen with COVID and so on, I tend to be always a little bit cautious. I mean, let's remember, let's go back 3 months in time in the same call. Difficult to know how things are unfolding from pandemic standpoint. And so, yes, I think we are seeing places where the pandemic seems to be in a more stable situation. In some other, it's not. And therefore, we just feel that, it's probably difficult to really assess how this pandemic will evolve over the next quarters. Will the shape of the pandemic be a W or an S or whatever is the question. When we judge our performance for the second quarter, though, this is on solid ground. This is not, looking at the macro view. This is really looking at what we have in our order book, the pipeline we have, the deal flows, and so on. And so this is why we, for the time being, communicate on the stabilization for Q2, and then we will come back for H2 for sure. We want to go back to a normal course and provide guidance, and we will do it. We will do it, but when time is right for that. On the bets, yes, I think you heard, and there's no doubt. I have an incredible level of energy and passion for growth for many reasons, and I'm convinced that we have all the ingredients for that. We have inside Wipro outstanding talent. We have very, very strong assets, and the quality of the clients we have is outstanding as well. I've been connecting with quite a lot of them actually over the last 5 days. That's one of the good things of this new world where you can connect through virtually like that. You can actually go from one city to another in a few seconds. And so I've had several interactions, and all tells me that the foundations are here for the growth to happen. Bets, it means that we will assess the situation. I'm going to spend time. I don't want to jump on conclusion. I'll spend time with the team to learn about what we have, but I want to build on strengths and focus some specific investments in order to come, with a competitive advantage. No doubt, you can expect, I cannot be more specific, but you can expect that this is us accelerating the rotation of our portfolio to the new. A great job has been done by the team over the last years to really rotate and have, a significant part of the business in the new. And we'll continue to go in this direction, because I'm convinced that the pandemic, if anything, has not only, is going to make technology even more critical and even more important to companies, which means that our clients will want to accelerate their transformation, their digital transformation over the next months. And so that's where we will focus our attention as well. Jatin, back to you.
Thanks, Thierry. Mugdha, hope you are well. I will cover your question. And, even as I get into details, and I know you are keen to understand the margin walk, and I'll be happy to share that. But I want to take a minute and talk about the quality of work that some of our teams have done on cost side. Such a situation is sort of once in few years or a decade. and it really reflects how you respond. It really reflects the can-do, the teamwork and positivity of an organization. We have done a lot of good work in terms of looking at how do we use how do we reduce the variable workforce, how do we improve the utilization of our GNA, what offices that we no longer need because prima facie everybody is working from home. We have also looked at in terms of what are the opportunities around furlough and other options, and overall we have come out quite well on the other side. I will now give you the margin walk. We have got about 1% benefit of rupee. We have got operational improvement or of close to about 1%, additional 1%, and which has been offset by a slightly larger provision that we took on provision for doubtful debt. It is called expected credit loss provision that we have taken. It is not specific to any specific customer, but it's just a reflection of the tougher environment that we are dealing with. So that really will convert into a 1.4, 1.5% incremental that we were able to add on 17.6% of Q4 to come at 19%.
Thank you, Chandra. So if you can go next, if you can unmute and proceed, please.
Hi, I hope you can see me and hear me now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
Chandra,
great.
we can see you and hear you. Yeah. Good.
Oh, what a relief. Thank you so much. Mr. Delaporte, first of all, welcome to Wipro. Welcome to the Indian IT industry. I just want to start by asking you, you mentioned, that you will be sitting with the with the chairman and the other leaders of Wipro and come up with a plan in the next few weeks. You've also emphasized a lot on profitable growth, both in the AGM speech yesterday as well as today. So what can we expect? Is this going to entail some tough measures, some reorganization perhaps? I know it's too soon, but what can we expect on that front? And Jatin, the profitability part was a clear surprise this quarter. So can you take us through what kind of levers helped you, and will it be sustainable going forward? Saurabh, finally to you, companies like TCS have a clear breakup of how many people are going to work from home, how many people from office over a 5-year timeline. Would you have a breakup to share? How are you going to do this in a way that employees also don't lose out on social capital in office? Is there a percentage you are working with? Thank you.
Chandra, thank you. So to your question, first of all, thank you for the warm welcome. It feels fantastic to have joined this wonderful family. I know I will disappoint you, but I think it would not be serious for me to come with some directions and plan after 7 days in the company. Wipro is an exceptional group, as I said, with amazing assets, outstanding values, and I have a lot to learn before I jump on conclusions and come with my plan based on what. Okay. What is sure though is that yes, I'm in constant dialogue with our chairman, Rishad. Rishad and I are exchanging constantly, very openly, very directly. I really enjoy my interaction and the way things are flowing between us. I am constantly in dialogue with my executive committee team and engaging at multiple levels to really find out what needs to what can we improve to unleash the potential growth of this organization. So let me give you a couple of directions. One, clearly big agenda, an obsessive focus on growth. So And it starts with, the way we are going to serve, and we continue to serve our top clients, how to develop those relationships, how to invest more into services and solutions that, matter the most to them, how to better leverage the great relationship we have with big technology firms, the Microsoft, AWS, Google, and sorry for the ones I'm not mentioning, but they are outstanding partners of us and will continue. And I want to sit down with them and work on, how to build and go one step further. On the offerings, how can we make them more relevant? Be ready to take bets, as I said earlier, including on deals. Be ready to be a little bold and really be ambitious. I want us to work on the most complex projects of the most demanding client and deliver the project, the services with our best talents. So one is definitely big obsession on growth. Second is because this is the people business, and have the most cohesive team, align around the priorities and the objectives, and execute on it. Third is because this is my nature, I will challenge status quo in different places. I'm not coming with preconceived ideas, but this is my nature, and I think we are in the world of change. Change is good. And so I will drive this agenda. And the fourth one, which goes with unleashing the potential, is see how we can simplify processes, simplify setups internally to give more time for people to focus on the market, on our customers, on our partners, less internally. So that's a lot. We will prioritize, but again, please be a little patient. Jatin?
Thanks, Thierry. So Chandra, I will go on the levers as you asked, and I will categorize them into various buckets. But let me start with delivery first. I think Wipro delivery teams have done a fabulous job this quarter. If you see our on-site offshore ratio, and if you see the offshore revenue percentage, you will see that is the highest in last 5 quarters, 48.5%. And if you compare it with last year, same quarter, it was 46.7. So we have really improved it 1.8%. If you see utilization is at 75% at gross utilization basis. So even in a tough quarter, when your revenue is reducing so much, to be managing the overall workforce so seamlessly that your utilization is higher. Of course, we benefited by people taking little lower leave, etc. But still, to come out at a higher utilization level than what it has been over last 5 quarters, I think is very commendable. Some of the levers that you don't see here are also related with automation and some other initiatives on cost. Variable workforce, as I spoke about before, that's the first category. Second is really looking at every incremental cost very, very carefully, looking at the spend that gave us bang for the buck before. Is it really still giving us? Therefore, look at the spend which is no longer required. How do we work through that spend and not let it recur? So that has been the second aspect. And third is really looking at overall, even within the context of a tough quarter, how do we keep our revenue momentum up during the course of the quarter, where we started with versus where we end with? And how do we not let every dollar of revenue that we can preserve, protect, and grow, how do we make impact of that? So I think all 3 levers have worked. We also were helped by Forex, as I mentioned. So overall, a good quarter and good execution. Saurabh?
Yeah, Chandra. So, I will ask, I will give a flavor of what our thinking is, on this one, but Bhanu has been involved deeply, and I will request him to speak on the actual numbers and how we manage this. But, as we got into the quarter, and we spoke about it last time, our first priority remained, and which Thierry also alluded to, was the safety of employees, and we ensured that happened. Second was business continuity, that we ensured. And third was in terms of how do we make sure that we are able to serve our clients properly. In that, as we speak today, very few people, and I'm leaving the numbers to Bhanu to speak, are coming to work in our offices. We have ensured large part of our workforce continues to work from home seamlessly. And number of steps that Jatin spoke in his speech about how do we make sure that we are able to engage with our employees has been critical while they're working from home. But without taking much time, I think Bhanu should speak about the work which has happened in terms of how do we have been able to serve all our clients in this entire thing. Bhanu, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Saurabh. Thanks, Chandra. So if you look at the last quarter, right, as you said, this has been a very unprecedented quarter, many changes for the organization as well, in terms of the ways of working. Approximately about 3% of our employees are working from our offices today, and the rest are all working from their homes. And we have been able to enable all these employees to work from home and serve our customers seamlessly. Just to give you some examples, our collaboration minutes have gone up 5x times compared to the pre-COVID scenario. People have adopted to new methods of working very quickly, right? We did a survey of our customers in terms of, after the quarter was over, in terms of how we have been able to help them. And 98% of our customers have told us that either we served them better or at least equal to the competition when it comes to handling the transition during the COVID period. We introduced new work methods for our employees. So a lot of the transitions that we needed to do, project starts that we needed to do, have happened remotely. And similarly, we've been able to take our customers' critical programs to take them go live as well. So overall, the execution has been very smooth and seamless. And like you mentioned, it also implies that going forward, right, we have a methods of thinking about how can this workforce be a little bit more fluid and agile. And you are seeing the situations in terms of various cities right now. Bangalore did announce a kind of a lockdown situation. Pune did announce a kind of a lockdown situation. So we need to be careful about how we go about, we need to be nimble in these things. But in the future going forward, we do believe that we may not get to the same state as what we were earlier, meaning 100% of the workforce working 100% of the time at the offices. That may not be the situation at all, right? Now, what those percentages will be depends on multiple factors, right? It depends upon customers, it depends on nature of work that we do, it depends upon the regulations, and it depends obviously upon the overall safety and health situation that we have seen, right? But we have ensured that today our customers are served extremely well, and at the same time we've taken care of our employees so that they are safe and secure.
Thank you. Varun, please unmute and proceed. Varun Sood.
Hi. Two quick questions, please. And both the questions are to the new CEO, Mr. Delaport. The first question is, sir, yesterday also at the AGM, you had mentioned about having a profitable growth. But over the years, we have seen none of the IT companies, at least both globally and in India, maintaining this kind of a balance between profitable and revenue. And hence, some companies tend to have, say, a kind of a growth at all cost approach, or they tend to prioritize profitability. If I have to ask you a direct question, can you please perhaps share with us that over the next 2 years or 3 years, would Wipro be adopting some kind of a growth at all cost approach, which gives you a little more leeway with regards to your profitability? The second question is, over the next 2 or 3 years, if I have to ask you, what kind of a differentiated Wipro do you expect to build? Because in this time of IT disruption, almost every company is talking about technology, about a consulting or a platform-led approach. Would you be just doing the same, and would you be executing it better, or do you really foresee building a more differentiated Wipro? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the two questions. So first of all, on the growth, I'm a strong believer that you cannot choose between growth and profitability. You may have different sometimes, and you may have a quarter where you have a little more growth or a little less, and then the next quarter it improves. I think at the end of the day, there is no such thing as growth at all cost in our industry. Margins allow you to reinvest in your future, and so if you give up on your margin, you basically impact your ability to invest into ever-changing technology capabilities, business, industry expertise, and so on. So, I don't believe in that. Having said that, yes, growth sometime may potentially, but it's timing issue. And again, I have no idea what it means for Wipro. We will push profitable growth, which clearly states that we will consider everything start with a booking, a sale, a contract. That the whole industry start with closing a deal with a client. And priority absolute will be to drive growth. And of course, growth has to be profitable. There is no such thing as revenue with no associated growth, with no associated margin, sorry. So it's the balance, and we will focus on the two. No choice. On your second question, which is around the differentiated Wipro, I strongly believe Wipro is a different company. It has its own set of values. It has an incredible history. Again, no one else in the world can say that 67% of the profit go to humanitarian services activities and actions. This is giving Wipro a very different culture, and so people have grown into this company with this sense of purpose that I admire tremendously. Wipro is also absolutely strong and leader in technology, and I can feel every time I speak to people that they truly love technology. Wipro has real strengths in some sectors and will continue to position us in these sectors. I don't expect to look at what the others are doing and try to look and do the same. We have our own trajectory, and we are going to build our own trajectory for the years to come. So yes, we will be different.
Thank you.
Raj, let's go to the next question.
Sure, thank you. The next questions come from Swati. Swati, so please unmute and proceed.
Hi, this is Swati from Money Control. First question is the new CEO. Thierry, you had mentioned several priorities, but is there any focus area, which is the first area of focus right after you have taken charge? If you can share that. And the other questions are directed to Saurav Gobil, the CHRO. So if you can share about the fresher hiring. Last time when we spoke, you had mentioned that the Wipro is going to slow on hiring. So if you can throw some light on the fresher hiring. And the other two questions about the economy in the tech space. Could you insight about how Wipro is going to...
Swati, we are not able to hear you.
I didn't hear the first question, sorry.
I think Thierry,
yeah,
go ahead.
Am I audible now? Hello?
It is not quite clear, Swati. You're not very audible.
Saurabh, did you hear the first question?
Yeah, I heard the first question. Let me repeat, Swati. Then Thierry, she wants to know from you that you have spoken of several priorities. Is there any particular focus area which you have in mind and which you can share with her? So that's the question to her. And second, the question was to me about how do I look at hiring as we go into. Yeah.
No. Again, the priorities are the one I've shared. To be more specific requires more time. There will be a moment where I'll come back to you and I will share about those priorities specifically. Consider that the priority is around growth, is around cohesive team, is around refining our model and driving simplification at every level.
Thanks. And sorry, to answer your question, let me give a perspective on two or three things. One is I want to reiterate that we never stopped hiring. If you look at in Q1, our gross hiring was, again, I'm repeating, 7,000 people. If you look at the headcount reduction which has happened, is net of the attrition which has happened, and you can do the numbers. So there was a significant hiring happening, and this was happening across the globe. Second, as you know, growth is the agenda, and we will continue to hire both in Q2 and onwards. Third, from a Wipro standpoint, we have given a commitment that we will honor all the offers we have made. It was delayed in Q1. We have started onboarding people with earlier offers in a phased manner, and people will continue to see that. It'll not happen. It'll happen over the period of Q2 and Q3 as we move forward. Lastly, on the freshers, again, there was a delay itself from the various engineering schools in terms of closing of the curriculum and academic session. We will start the onboarding, and we will relook at it and start towards the end of this quarter, early next quarter, in terms of onboarding people. But overall, I want to give a thing that A, we will continue to honor wherever we have made offers. B, it will get staggered and delayed based on the business requirements. But we will not renege on any offer.
And hello?
Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
So my other question was about the Topcoder. With freelancing gaining momentum, could you throw some insight on how Wipro is going to leverage Topcoder?
I will ask Bhanu to speak on that, on the Topcoder part.
Yeah. So it's a very good point that you mentioned. I think Topcoder, in fact, got validated during this situation right now, because the talent could operate from anywhere, and the ability to have a variable talent available for solving big problems was very well established. In fact, one of the deals that we have worked along with, Topcoder worked along with, some of the agencies right now, is in terms of able to estimate the impact of some of the flood situations across the coastal points, and where this contest is along the US western coast. These are very complex problems to solve, and Topcoder was able to bring in talent from various locations together on a platform to be able to address these problems very well. And we have utilized this for solving our customer problems as well. Like I told you earlier, the same version of that exists inside Wipro called Top Gear, but meant for Wipro employees only. And we have utilized that. The utilization of that has gone up significantly over this quarter. And that platform has been utilized to solve some of our internal customer projects that we need to complete. So the current situation of the talent being able to operate from anywhere has been the one of the best fitting models as a proof point for Topcoder. And the deals do justify, do give the indication about how it is taking in the market as well.
Yeah, and just one last question to about the
Swati, sorry, interest of
one last question.
We'll move to another. We'll come back later on. So next question comes from Sajid. Sajid, unmute and proceed.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen. This is Sajid here from BloombergQuint. I have a couple of questions here. One, about your TCV in the quarter, total contract value. What was it in Q1 for you? And my second question is on the pricing environment. As you go out and bid for projects in this environment, how do you see the pricing environment when you speak to clients, when you speak to your new orders which are coming in? Are you seeing some pressure coming in from pricing, or clients coming back and renegotiating the entire process there? And then I need some color on some of the key verticals which you have, BFSI being one and consumer business one. They have seen a degrowth of 5.3% and 9.7% in the quarter. So give me an idea of what clients in these verticals are doing, and where is the revenue, why is the revenue falling from that area? And finally, on the geography, US and Europe, how are these geographies looking for you?
Okay. So I will go with a few of your questions. Number one, Prasun, we as you know, we don't disclose either the total contract value or our annual contract value. But I did share that we have seen an improvement compared to last year same time. What we clocked in versus what we have clocked. We have definitely done better than that. We have also had a good flow of large deal wins, and couple of them are actually mentioned in our press release. I would request you to look at those. They are very, very high quality large deals that we have been able to sign. I will now come on your pricing environment question. Pricing environment, I would say, like in any situations which is similar to this, there is certainly an expectation for investment from client into relationships and opportunities. And we are remaining balanced. We are working very closely with our customer to find a situation which works for both partners. But yes, there is a greater emphasis on competitiveness. There is a greater emphasis of getting more for the same dollars in the current environment that we have to work through as a service provider, as a meaningful service provider for many of our customers. Your third question was regarding the business units which have seen a significant impact in Q1. How do we see them coming back? We certainly see a stability or uptick in consumer business unit and communications business unit. BFSI, one would want to watch how the environment pans out. There is certainly a greater opportunity for BFSI to bounce back, given the fact that all the overall BFSI sector entered this crisis far more robust than any other crisis, and they have been able to work through quickly on their priorities as the crisis has unfolded. But one would want to watch out how it goes on for another few months. As you know, the economic data right now is quite volatile and quite subdued also. And we have to see how the recovery comes back and how strong is the recovery. And there will be some dependence of BFSI sector on that macro.
We are running out of time. We'll take one last question.
Sure. Thank you. Person, please unmute and proceed. Prasun Srivastava.
Hi. Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
So during the quarter, you see there was like you had money both in the profit attributable to shareholders and even in the revenue segment. So what were the factors that worked out for you during the quarter, and what were the challenges, major hiccups? And the other part is what percentage of your total revenue market are accessible now or are in action?
Sorry, Prasun, I couldn't follow your first question. Can you kindly repeat?
If you look at the growth in the consolidated profit, there have been very marginal growth, and even in the total revenue segment. total income.
Yes.
So what factors that were close and that saved you from a decline?
No, it is. I would say it is overall work that we have been able to do on a operating line that has helped us. In fact, as many of you know, that we have committed 100 crores towards COVID as a specific CSR initiative, working very closely with Azim Premji Foundation, and Wipro Enterprise Limited, which combined sort of a CSR total kitty of initiative being 1125 crores. Of that 100 crores, our share is also sitting in our P&L, which has been taken. And after that debit, we are where we are. And I think therefore I wouldn't worry whether it was just there or not there. Also, I would say that we had a large buyback in September of last year. So right way to look at our performance should be EPS, which has actually demonstrated a 5.7% year-on-year growth.
We have completely run out of time. Thank you all for joining. Be safe. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.